Welcome back to Active Minds podcast, where we hope to, at the very least, explore through the perspectives and experiences of the people that are paving their own lane. Then we have a little fun. We brainstorm a little bit, and we start to explore how does their lessons and experience apply to you. And last but not least, the whole idea of this is to move smarter together. Today, I'm joined once again by my awesome co-host, Danny. I'm also joined by a guy that we're going to get into a little bit, but specifically him coming here brought up the topic of, or the question of, is your relationship with work healthy? We talk a lot about like work-life balance, and there's a bunch of like quick hacks and stuff, but I figured why not actually get into it with someone who's actually going through it. So, dude, welcome. I don't want to butcher the accomplishments you've made, but there's one cool thing. You went from Haiti to Chicago, from Chicago to Jersey. Now you're in Miami. We're keeping you?
Yes.
Are we keeping you?
Yes, you are. I love
awesome.
it. Best
so,
city ever for sure.
Stephen Jacques
Yes.
is a trucking connoisseur, entrepreneur. He's setting a new trend not only for himself, but for others just like him. I just found out that you're getting into music as well.
Oh, no.
So you're not getting into music. I was going to make a freestyle.
You want me to do it?
No.
you want me to say what? The thing is, I've been doing music lately.
Yeah.
And more so beats.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know, which I'll explain the story, but I used to play piano in church since I was like 7 years old.
Oh,
It's crazy.
that's where it comes from.
We had a choir for like the kids, and then from then I transitioned back into what you're gonna call like in church, being 12, playing. I grew up in a Catholic church, so I was like being 12 years old up to 17 years old playing for the old people choir in the new.
Now that makes more sense.
I've learned a lot from there. But I do have plans to start a record label, but the whole music thing is just what I explained to you earlier. The whole, which
we'll get into that. We'll get into that
later.
But yeah, the topic again, the whole thing of work-life rebalance. We can get into it in a million different ways, but specifically, it's kind of hard to overlook the fact that right now, as we're talking about this, depression is at an all-time high. It's kind of sad, actually. Suicides are through the roof. In fact, a lot of people in the psychology field are to the point where they're actually overbooked.
Crazy.
And that's before we even get to like, people who are doing like online apps and all this other stuff.
Right.
But when it comes to you're in an industry that one is, it's kind of gruff. It is.
It is.
But it's very interesting because, and I said this when we were talking earlier, is I've noticed that a lot of people that were born and raised in the Northeast, not discrediting anyone else in the United States, cógelo con take it easy, California, but when you look at Chicago, Boston, New York, Jersey, there is this rose out of concrete element, and it almost forces you to kind of choose, am I going to stay gully? If you don't know what gully means, well, that doesn't matter.
Right.
Or do I actually find a balance of myself, man? What has that been like for you?
Man, let's just say I had to learn from my environment, dude. Like, being in school, like I just say, high school, not so much, but I don't know if you guys kind of hear it. I know you can, but my accent. So when I first moved, till like I was like in high school, I had like a strong accent. So that right there, dude, like middle school, grammar school, elementary school, you're getting bullied for that.
This is high school in Chicago, yeah?
High school, not so much, but the grades prior, a lot.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah.
Kids are brutal.
Kids brutal. Telling you a bunch of jokes you might not. So I kind of had to learn how to be tough growing up, right?
Thick skin.
So having tough skin, you know how that goes. Like just imagine like going to the street, walking just to get home from school, right? And then having kids not only bullying you, but also bullying you to join a gang. So I never joined a gang, but
we get protection sometimes.
Exactly. So, but I had to kind of like let cousins and other people that were like, hey, excuse my language, do not fuck with this dude.
Yeah.
This is my people. But so I kind of had to learn how to be tough, right? So, but at the same time, I got to stuff inside. Hey, even those kids, like the gangbangers or all these different things, they come to me and ask for help. Because don't get me wrong, I always used to be the smart kids from high school to different things. So I like, okay, cool, I'll help you out. Let's do this. Even up to a point where like, I don't know. That's kind of like the person I am, like with the stuff inside. Yeah. I'll give up my last just to say, okay, cool, you need this? All right, cool, whatsoever. So I had to kind of learn, even though I have a soft inside for certain things,
Mm-hmm.
learn how to be tough as well, if that makes sense, due to my environment.
Do you think that because you're from Haiti, I'm from Cuba,
Nice.
so we're neighbors.
Vecinos. Neighbors.
Hey,
So,
neighbors.
do you think that with that upbringing, that, you know, like the tragedies you guys have suffered with the hurricanes and having to rebuild all the time, and, you know, always having to keep going, right? Go
Got to.
forward. It's in your blood. Do you think?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah, it is. Definitely, like you. Me gusta la comida de Cuba, by the way.
Speak Spanish. Welcome to Miami.
I
Welcome to
tried.
Miami.
So let's just say this, right? So yeah, I had to learn how to be tough at a very, very young age. Like being born in Haiti, and still like every summer, even though I moved here at a very young age, I still went every summer for 2-3 months, seeing how those people are, you know, hustling, selling things, different things on the streets just to make a living and sending their kids to school. And I'm pretty sure you know about that.
Of course.
So it's kind of, I had to learn how to be tough. And on top of that, a lot of like the tragedies that's been happening,
Yeah.
I lost a lot of family members
Disaster.
in a disaster earthquake in 2010. Things like that, you know,
remember
I had to learn how to be strong and tough. And even going up in Chicago, I can probably count on people I went to school with or grew up with. At least about 30 of them died. So I just transitioned into being tough, and that also helped me when it comes to business.
Do you
I learned
feel
how to
like
be
it
tough.
desensitized you, or you just learned how to deal with it?
I would not. Let's just say I'm gonna be truthfully and
Yeah,
honest,
yeah.
right? I had to learn how to deal with it, right? So up to a point where like so much was bottled within, like it was like, yo, what's going on? So where I grew up, it was like more so, man, you a black man, you this, you're a minority, you need to learn how to be tough and deal with it. So I had to learn how to bottle in, but it's only so much as a human being you can take. Right? It's only so much to a point where it's gonna lead to depression, especially when it comes to business and work life and doing those different things. If you don't learn how to balance certain things in life, it's just gonna be like at a certain point, oh shit, what am I doing? So
You recently had a moment where that happened to you.
Oh yeah,
Like you bubbled up, you were at your wit's end, man.
So when I first moved to Miami last year, like February, I had to like, okay, cool, I'm gonna move here, you know, and I'm gonna do big things, right? And that's what I'm in the process of doing. And it was like up to a point where like I've been doing big things, but at the same time trying to get, you know, caught up, yo, the lifestyle. Let me get there, this. Let me get this type of car, exotic. Let me get the penthouses, all that stuff. So much hard work, but I didn't realize that, yo, like, what's going on? I'm spending 16, 18 hours in my office building a company, and I have no balance. Like, even my diet was changing out, order fast food and all these different things, and it's just like, I didn't even realize, like, don't get me wrong, like, I'm spending 16, 18 hours in the office, no life. Even my mom, that I love a lot, will only hear from me like once a week. And I know it sounds bad to say.
Dude,
Dude, that's
Caribbean
crazy.
mom?
In Caribbean, mom?
Caribbean
You know
culture?
how it
Oh my
goes.
God, imagínate.
So
Yeah, forget
it was
about it.
like, yo, like, and then like I was telling you before, right? I've had some recent death and happened in my family, and then also, you know, some you know, I don't really want to talk about,
Yeah.
but like some health issues, you know, family side. I'm realizing like, yo, life's short. I got these people that care dearly of me. Not only
Fuck the wake up call, man.
let me not only making sure I'm spending time with them, but also making sure that I have to do what it takes to balance my life so I can live a lot longer, because those people care about me.
Yeah.
And it will kill my mom to see me going through something, health issues, depression, which I went through. I'll say, like, just to be fully, quite frankly and honest, like, trucking that I'm in, a lot of people think it's easy, but it's not. You go through a lot of shit, right?
It's rough.
Gotta deal with a lot
It's
of
a rough
personalities.
industry.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's rough. So
Yeah.
going through all these different things, building a company, systemizing things, and not making time for myself, I'm like, yo, I went through depression, and I didn't even realize I was going through it till like it hit me months later. Like,
So you
What
were like
was-
that meme
yeah.
crying in your Ferrari.
oh yeah.
What
Yeah.
was that moment that you
But-
were like, oh my God, I'm depressed? Like, what was that aha moment that you realized that you were going through depression? And because you said you were
man.
feeling it, but you didn't know what was going on with you.
Oh yeah, it was just like I was, you know, balling so much, and then you know, past business, dealing with past business partnership that I've built and things like that. It was like yo, what am I like? I didn't realize what my purpose was, to be honest with you. It was just like alright, I'm just living to like you were saying about the meme crying about Ferrari.
Yeah.
Nah, I wanna spend time smiling with my family,
Yeah.
spend time somewhere on vacation and just lay down. Yeah, all those things. If you want it, you put your mind to it, you're gonna get it. But at the same time, I don't want to cry in a Ferrari. That mean nothing to me, right?
You
So
heard
it was
that.
all those different
You
things,
heard
right?
that. I hope you got that.
I don't want to cry in a freaking Ferrari.
And that was
Yeah.
when you kind of shifted, right?
Yeah.
From like, I mean, don't get me wrong. I know you're still hustling and
yeah.
grinding it out, but your priorities.
Priorities
shifted.
change now, right? So one of the things I've done, I took a step back. A friend of mine put me on somebody named Neville Goddard. Teach you a lot about not only law of attractions and how you feel great and how you feel good. So I've been listening to him like every single morning, different audios,
Nice.
different people. And one of the things that he mentioned was feel good at all times, right? I'm like, so I took a step back
That's a
by
good
listening
priority.
to audio. I'm like, feel good at all times. So now you realizing, okay, cool, you're feeling good at all times, but what makes you feel good? You have to really take a step back and realize, okay, is it the cars? Is it the nice condos? Is it this? Is it that? What makes you feel good? To me, it was like, okay, cool. And one of the things he talked about was like, you need to take a step back and realizing, in order to know what makes you feel good, and which he talked about later on through his audios, right? It was like, okay, cool. What makes you don't feel good? To me, it was like a bunch of workload, a bunch of different things, dealing. So
okay.
what I've been able to do the last couple of months was like delegating as much as I know pressure, like, hey, if the driver's gonna call me at 3 a.m., let me go and delegate that and spend as much money as I can to hire somebody to do this, to do that, paying consultants, just to be able to have a balanced life. And another thing was diet. Like lately, I've stopped eating red meats and things. I'm not saying so it's all you.
everybody's
not.
different,
I'm not judging anybody, but those things that I've been doing makes me feel a lot better, right? And then it was like pretty much it. And then to me, like the main things I've been prioritizing lately is like just spending time with my family, seeing my little sister. Like I was just like, I made sure like last week she started classes and stuff. I made sure I went to Orlando just to spend time taking her to her first. It's like she that girl loved me so much.
How old is she?
She's 10.
Oh,
And she been like that since.
role model.
Dude, I'll tell you what, that little girl, she been. Hopefully she don't hear me calling her little girl. She hate that. I'll tell you, since she was a baby, she would like, I'll hold on to her, or her mom, she would rather me to hold on to her, dude.
And these
So-
things give you a sense of character, a sense
Exactly.
of belonging, a sense of self-love.
Exactly.
Like,
That's true.
Somebody
It's
admires you so much, it makes, no. And then when you make a decision, right?
Right.
You're like, oh, whoa, what would that little girl think about me?
Exactly. So
And-
a lot of those things, I'm like, yo, if I'm going through all this depression, all these things,
Big girl.
and health issues whatsoever, that not only gonna affect me, but it's gonna affect the ones that who loves me as well. Like her. What about my health? Don't I want to live longer to be able to help my little sister, or see my mom, and things like that. And even believe it or not saying that I was going through it, but at a certain point, if I kept going through that depression phase, it could have came up to a point it would have been suicidal.
Oh, yeah.
From losing, past business partnership, millions of dollars doing the wrong things, all these different things, seeing things you've built. So it's like you have to step back and realize what's really more important. And to me, it's like feel good at all times.
First of all, thank you
know?
for sharing that. That's very vulnerable and honorable
For sure.
that you can say that,
Most definitely.
So what would you say, coming from this, are like 3 self-care tips that you can give, somebody going through
Most definitely.
depression
Most
or,
definitely. So-
uncertainty?
Yeah, for sure. One of the first thing is to be able to realize that you're going through it, right? So
Awareness.
The first awareness, right? So
Yeah.
you have to take a step back from everything you're doing, and then just spend time and knowing like, okay, cool. You have to be able to realize it. The awareness is number one. So one of the things that I do is every single day. Not only I have a business a small notebook for my business journal for the day, but I also have one for my personal stuff. So.
Nice.
Throughout the day, when the very first day start, I make sure, number one, I put like 10 stuff that I'm grateful for at all times. I write that down. And then within that same journal, I transition like what went throughout the day. It could be a good thing or a wrong thing. And then at the end of the day, I'm going to make sure like even on wrong stuff, I'm going to say I'm grateful for them and what can I learn. So that helped me a lot. Like A lot.
So awareness, gratitude, circling
Yeah.
back to that gratitude.
Yeah, sir, gotta circle back to
Yeah.
it. You gotta be grateful at all times, you know. And then I'll say number 2, I've been doing a lot of meditation, to be honest. And I've been doing it. I get up, like I used to be, you know, due to my work schedule, usually the type of person I go to sleep at like 2 a.m., 3 a.m. just grinding. But I'm like, yo, if I can go to sleep at like 10, 11 and get up at 5, man, just do that little meditation. And then I make sure, you know, when that sun hit, I do a little sun glazing and just like relax my mind, getting that little vitamin in me. So that been helping me as well, man. Like, and then I say the diet, believe it or not.
You are what you eat.
You're what you eat. And I've been changing that diet, like I said, slowly but surely. I'm not being on anything
A lot of people fall into the trap of misconstruing what toughness is.
Right.
And I guess that's where my question goes is, I'm pretty sure that what you're doing between the journaling, the meditation, the self-care, all this stuff, I mean, picture saying that to someone back home. How would they react?
You know what my boys would say back home?
What?
You crazy, bro? Like, you good?
My
Like,
favorite is that woo woo shit.
You
They
late,
call
you
woo woo
land,
shit.
won't you?
That woo
What's
woo.
up, bro? Like, hey, man. That's exactly what they say. But a lot of them, they be coming back to me and asking me, like, yo, Steve, I see you doing big things. Like, you went from
all of a
this.
sudden you want to learn.
I'm like, bro, like, you don't know. I went through so much shit, and you got to be able to learn how to balance it. And I'm not saying that right now it's not fully perfect, just to be fully transparent, right? Still, you know, make an adjustment. But what I've realized is you need to learn how to balance a bunch of stuff. And a lot of people don't realize that because they trying to go too fast. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, we all got big goals. We're going to get to them, right? But at the same time, make sure you're going to get there and don't crash yourself, too.
What was our saying? Slow is fast?
Slow is smooth, smooth is
Slow-
fast.
Slow is smooth is fast.
You guys ever see like how you're running into you driving so fast and then guess what? And then you realize like, yo, why was I driving fast for? Like I just hit the red light. Now you stop.
We're both
and
at
then
the same red light.
the car that was going the speed limit
Yeah.
literally just
It's next to me now. And this
all right,
is
next to
awkward.
you. Like, yo, I was doing that whole nonsense, possibly to even crash myself for what?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you do get that excitement, but at the end of the day, you realize like, yo, I could have just get to that, right? And as long as you going forward, you're gonna get to it. So, yeah.
Very true.
Whoa. Wait. If you're watching this and enjoying it, press pause for a second. Go to activemindsclub.com. Again, activemindsclub.com.
Here you will have membership access to our exclusive networking events, as well as behind-the-scene access to our guests where you yourself can ask them questions.
Not to mention, at these events and in the community, you're going to have access to the very mentors that are here sitting with us, as well as many, many more that are doing cool things in stocks, marketing, cars, real estate, where we're going to have you have access to education, insights, how-tos, all things that you can apply to your life and business. When I hear that, obviously I'm laughing because it happens all the time, especially here in Miami.
Right.
Horrible drivers. I'm off topic, but the other day I actually
hate
saw a
driving
semi
here, man.
hit a Maxima. The Maxima hit the pickup, and then the pickup hit the thing. And I'm like, oh, we got to slow down. Dude, they all kept going.
Guess what, dude? I bought 2 cars down here. I don't even drive in Miami. People
You're a
drive
smart
crazy.
man.
Yeah.
Uber everywhere.
I get the Uber everywhere, dude. Give me my Uber black.
you go.
Boom, boom. Hey, let me
Delegating.
do my thing. It's
Yeah.
part of it, right? Think about all the stress I got to go through.
And you could also do
No.
a couple business deals in the back. you know?
Exactly. So,
You know what? That's why I want to do like Lincoln Lawyer. I want to grow up to be like Lincoln Lawyer.
Oh, that would be phenomenal.
Drive
Hey,
me everywhere.
drive me everywhere. That's
I
the
love
plan,
driving,
man.
but
For
sometimes
now.
I'd rather just have people drive
Hey,
for me.
sometimes it's good to like, you know, when I drive like early morning, like if I want to clear my mind type of thing, come in the valley just to,
Yeah.
okay, cool, let me drive somewhere just a little bit.
Yeah.
But when it comes to rush hours, not
Yeah.
even rush hours, daytime, Miami, I do not do it, man. I
Yeah.
can't.
Yeah.
So it sounds like, you know, even though we're joking around, it sounds like you've been able to acknowledge your triggers.
Oh yeah.
You've been able to
That's true.
acknowledge, you know what, that makes me uncomfortable, and I have the ability not to have to deal with that, so why would I? You know? So if you have the ability, and if you can, you know, acknowledge your triggers, right? Is that and
to.
avoid them if you can. What are do you do meditation on your own? Like, do you listen to music, or do you listen to any apps? What do you recommend?
A lot of things I've been doing lately is like classical strings.
Okay.
It helps me a lot.
The frequencies?
Yeah, I'm big on
Yeah.
frequencies.
Oh, like binaural beats and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been listening to hertz a lot.
So
I don't know if
fleshy
you
of
got
frequencies?
yeah,
Yeah.
I've been like 420, 450 and higher.
Amazing.
You know, and then the little strings whatever. It helped me like, and I just like. But I do my meditation, and believe it or not, so I'm gonna talk about that because I've been big in like spiritual stuff too.
Yeah.
Like a lot of the meditations I do early morning as soon as I can before I even turn my phone on.
Yeah.
And then believe it or not, throughout the day, we all like. You might not realize it, but you meditating and manifesting by just like thinking about a goal, thinking about something.
Mhm.
Just make sure like it aligns with whatever you plan on doing. It's still, to me, it's still like you manifesting, you meditating. Like me, like, I've learned lately, like last couple of years, to like get around people to be more. But
Yeah.
even though I'm not antisocial, but I'm more so of an introvert as well.
Have you ever done your Myers-Briggs? Myers-Briggs is a personality test, psychological.
I've done it.
You've done
I've
it. Oh, what's
yeah.
your 4? It's 4 letters usually.
I'm an ID. I forgot. Because I didn't do it till it's been like 8 months. So I probably had to retake it. But
Yeah.
one of the things that I was doing when I was building my company, before I even hire anybody, I made sure they would come and take that test. But it was like ID, something. I forgot. But it was, you know what? I'm
should
going
take
to
it.
take it
You should
again.
take it
I'm going to
again.
take it again.
We should do it right now.
I was,
Have you done
hey, send me
No?
the app. But
What do
like,
you think we are?
Literally, it's been,
Stop it.
like I said, things probably
I
change over.
think he's ISTJ. I could be wrong.
That's
Nah.
a lot of letters.
Nah, that's
it's 4 letters, it's 4
no,
letters.
exactly. That's exactly what I mean. I have this. I can get the screenshot on my phone. ISTJ, and guess what I did? Nah, that's exactly what it is. When I was building my company, my automation company, I was mainly hiring people with starting with an I or something in there, and I take everybody to take a personality test.
Mhm.
I don't know if you. Anybody
Yeah, some
do
people
it.
don't love it, but
It
there
is
is
what it
something
is.
to it, even if it just comes down to like learning how to navigate things. Obviously, it gets misconstrued like all things. But speaking of psychology, actually, visualization is something you just touched on, and it keeps bringing up this thing of like goal setting, right?
Right.
And we've had numerous people here talk about like they can see it, and they go for it. There's this cool study that was done not so long ago, and it's been repeated, where they had they studied people. And they were talking to people in their 20s
Right.
about saving for retirement.
Right.
Obviously, the over 70% of Americans right now don't even have a grand saved, $1,000 saved.
It's crazy.
So what they did with the social experiment is they took a picture of you, and then they put you up on your monitor, and then they started aging you gradually. So basically, you went from seeing yourself 5 years, 10 years, 15, 30, 40 down the future. And then after that, they surveyed them again. Hey, are you going to start a savings account? More than 80% of them were okay, not only with starting one, but they actually did start a savings account that day.
That's crazy.
And the premise of that study was the visualization. Visualization of it puts it in front of you. It's the same way that they looked at marathon runners when they were noticing like the marathon runners weren't thinking the miles.
Right.
They were looking at like the shorts in front of them or like a tree around the bend. So when you see that goal, it becomes a lot easier. So if I were to, throw that on in your court, what are some of the ways that you are quantifying what's worth a goal?
Oh,
Like, how do you know this is worth being a goal?
Okay, cool. Okay, so there's different ways I do it. When it comes to business, I don't like get involved in anything unless there's a evaluation plan
Okay.
to it, like the next 3 to 5 years. I just don't get into any business unless there's an evaluation plan. So
And trucking satisfies that.
trucking most definitely satisfies that to me. And anything else, a lot of times I get people pitch me about business ideas. Like I'm angel investors in a couple of businesses as well. But I make sure like, okay, cool. There's got to be an evaluation plan, and it has to align with what I plan on doing the next 3 to 5 years. And just to share that with you guys, I'm planning on being a philanthropist. Like right now, I have a nonprofit which I don't share like online social media, but I go to DR and help like Haitian immigrants' kids to
I like
do
that.
a lot of stuff. Like, cause a lot of them when they come and like their parents, migrating to Dominican Republic, they don't have no paperwork, so their kids don't get birth certificates either. So think about you going to school as a kid, being 10 or 12-year-old, getting kicked out of school. It's like the cycle start back over and over again.
Yeah.
So that's one of the things I want to make sure, like, okay, cool. Is it going to align with my goals later down the road? Am I going to be busy and I'm going to make time to be doing that? So I want to be doing that full time. And number 2 is just like, when it comes to everything, even with like fitness, I'm starting to get back in the gym. Up to a point, dude, like I was going so crazy like back in the days. People would be like, yo, you're a personal trainer or something, but like, you know, you slack on that whatsoever. But like, even with like going in the gym, I'm thinking long term, like, okay, cool. I'm not seeing like right now, not next month. I'm thinking, okay, cool. How will my body feels a year from now, 10 years from now? I want to be able to be, you know,
So you can see yourself.
40 and look good, man, look clean. So
you can see yourself 5 years from now?
Myself. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'm not. So it'll probably be weird to say that, but we're in 2022. I'm not in 2022. Believe it or not.
So again, a forward thinker.
A forward
This is
thinker.
the common denominator and all
Oh, yeah.
that.
So, and that's the reason why a lot of time people, like, don't get me wrong, I'm always grateful for everything. But a lot of times people will come to me and be like, man, you doing this, you doing big, you went and got this, you went and got that. I'm like, yeah, I gave my blessing on whatever is going on now years ago. Like, that's not me. I'm already ahead. So it's like I'm not as excited as I should be. A lot of people would think I'm not grateful, but I've already been grateful. Like, I'm grateful now for the next 5 years coming up.
I changed it. I don't think it's ISTJ. I think it's INTJ now. I just changed it.
Okay, so somebody like me who's not, I'm like in the moment, totally. So how can you be more like that? Because I feel like I need to be more like that.
Help me.
How can you be more like that? Like I say, this is all go back to like, you just gotta like take a step back and realizing like what is it that everything you do in life, what is it for? Like, your why is it, because your why can be a part of you as well. You're like, okay, cool, whatever you're doing, you have to realize and take a step back. And that's really it for me, number one. And number two is just like, I'm big on like, don't get me wrong, like, you know, coming from Cuba and all this different, where are you from, by the way? Or your people from Puerto Rico?
No, I get that one a lot though. No, my family is Persian and Colombian.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's a crazy combination. Colombian. I'm going Medellin in 3 weeks, by the way.
Oh shit, nice.
Yeah.
I wish you a very, very good trip.
Hey,
I will
it's gonna be mainly business. Okay,
I'm gonna
we
give you
gonna talk.
recommendations. Yeah.
But yeah, it's like just take a step back and it's just like, okay, cool. Me, like I was saying, I've come from like a crazy background, being freaking poor. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm the shit. At all time, I think like that. So I'm like, 5 years from now, I'm the shit. Like, you know. So it's like that. So it was like, all right, whatever's going on now, I already manifested it years ago.
Wow, that's beautiful.
And then in 5 years when I'm mad, I'm like, okay, cool, I'm gonna be grateful, but it's like, cool, I'm already gonna.
Speaking of, because like, by the way, I do like the fact that I'm the shit. I like that. That resonates. That resonates.
Hey.
Like Cat
Energy.
Williams, your inner star. Your what is it? He always calls it. You gotta be in tune with your star player, fucking player.
Got to.
So you're winning. Things are going great. God is good all the time.
All the time, man.
Now what?
Because
Because I know you got your roadmap.
Oh yeah.
So what's next? How are you
next?
quantifying what's next?
Great. Oh man. I'm gonna say this right. Ever since I was like young, I always been the type of dude like I want to see everybody next to me, like get it going on, like hey, get cool.
So now it's time to bring the family on, the friends on.
Oh yeah, I've already put mad friends on, mad family members. Like dude, I have my uncle. Like one of my uncles right now is a nurse. He's literally thinking about living in his nursing job next 3 months. I done helped him. He's coming into trucking company. Oh, he got 3 trucks right now, dude. Help them out.
I like
got my cousin doing it too. I got friends not even trucking related. Like I pour so much into them from like music, different things. I'm putting them on, even though I might not know something, but I'm gonna find a plug to. Okay, cool. Can you help them do this, do that? So the next thing right now, man, is just. I'm about to go crazy. You know, everybody know me on the trucking stuff, but I never really had like a course. So I'm planning on bringing that platform next couple weeks. You know, just to get people line up, and then my automation. That's one of the reasons why I was saying I took a step back. I didn't onboard no clients the last 4 months due to the fact I'm like, okay, cool. Let me make sure I balance everything out, make sure I delegate everything before I go crazy. So it's gonna be that, and then I'm going to Medellin to like get my call center up and running over there. You know, and then it's just gonna be, just start planning like, you know, some exit strategies.
How many trucks are you operating right now?
Right now I have 13 of my own, but I have 36 other trucks that I manage. You know, clients' trucks,
Wow.
percentage wise.
So if we were to play the bragging game, you're obviously setting this up for the long haul.
Oh yeah.
Pun intended. I can't help it.
That's a good one.
I can't help it. The dad
I love
jokes.
a good pun.
The dad jokes. But yeah, you're setting this up. If this is long game you're looking at,
Right.
what's the thing that you right now the most proud of in your
The whole
accomplishments?
second? Oh man. Just going back to say, like, dude, like, so I dropped out of college in early 2016 after 2 years, 4.0 GPA, all that stuff. Most of my family members, believe it or not, I'm the only college dropout out of all of them.
So you were quite literally
I
the
make
black
the
sheep
most
of the
amount of
family.
money, so if that makes sense. Not saying money, I don't value money in certain things, but that itself means a lot. And you think about, you have people like my auntie, she's a surgeon, all these different people coming to me like, Steve, what do I do next? You know, even not even trucking related, what's investment advice or IRA and stuff like that. It made me like, okay, cool, I'm on the right path type of thing. So I say I'm grateful about that. And inspiring people too, like.
You're an inspiration, that's for sure.
It almost sounds, correct me if I'm wrong, it sounds like you're able to get in touch with your softer side a lot easier because that softer side is almost reserved for your family first and your in your inner circle second.
I say, yeah, most definitely. You know, at all times, you know, God first, family, inner circle. And then, you know, that's really it. I make sure, I want to make sure I have a purpose that's always bigger than me. Because by having a purpose that's always bigger than me, I go through, like, even trials and errors. So now I can not only learn for myself, but how do I inspire others to be able to. So that's why I'm always on my grind. Like, okay, cool, I'm not only doing this for myself, but I'm going to be able to put that person. And believe it or not, I learn a lot throughout the process of helping other people. True. Even though even if it's not trucking. Okay, cool, you need this. You doing this or anything. Let me help you out. Like, especially young people, man. I like to, like, help them get running and, okay, cool. Let me help you. Let me connect you with this. Because you learn a lot throughout the whole process, believe it or not.
Yeah, and circling back to the like the way that you take care of yourself gives you the opportunity. So first you really have to show up for yourself, right?
Got to.
And once you do that and once you take care of yourself, you eat right, you meditate, you're able to show up for those that you love.
Got to.
100%.
They relying on you. Like,
right.
You don't want to fail them. Like, they relying on you. You know, you got a purpose. Like me, I'm not trying to get too religious, but I know God set me aside to help certain things, and I don't want to, like, okay, cool, what's your calling? I know what my calling is, so I want to make sure at all time I respect what He's telling me to do, and it's just by, like, yo, like,
you've given a lot of credit to God,
yeah.
but now I'm going to challenge you
Okay.
to another part, to giving someone else credit. Who is someone that you've learned from that you feel is severely underrated?
Severely underrated.
Yeah. Who's someone that we're all sleeping on, basically, that you've learned a lot from?
Ooh, that's man.
It's a great opportunity to show them some love.
That's a big question, man. Cause I'll say this: I learned a lot from hearing there from a lot of people, man. That's Let me think. Let me get 30 seconds to think about that.
Dude, take your time. We can splice this in later. But I would love for you to ruminate later. Yeah, I'd love for you to ruminate.
I learned from a lot of people.
Hey, name them all, man. If you got a laundry list, go for it. We can edit this out. We can edit this pause out.
Sometimes you can learn from somebody walking down the street. They might say something to you, you're like, what?
Man.
Like, you know.
I'll say this, like, my boy Bobby Craig, like, Bobby, I don't know if you're watching this.
He's gonna.
Yeah.
He's gonna.
I say Bobby Craig, though, to be honest. He exposed me to a lot when I was young. Think about it, I just dropped out of college. You know, until it put me onto, like, the network marketing side of things. That's where I learned how to build connections. He took me under his wing as his little brother. You know, I say that I learned a lot from that dude. His hustle, the way of networking with different people. So I learned a lot from him. I'm gonna have to give that to Bobby Craig, though, man. That's my brother. It is the one, and that's for sure. He exposed me at a young age. Yeah, Bobby Craig. That's for sure.
For the people that we're going to share this with. What is something you would really appreciate them doing after listening to your story?
Oh, man, I'll say this, right? Take a step back. Park that car. You get me? Park it and realize, okay, cool, let me look the road map. And just before you, I know a lot of you guys, I know a lot of entrepreneurs, inspiring entrepreneurs watching this too. Take a step back. You know, it ain't gotta be the just for one day, a couple hours, and realizing what you're doing. Okay, cool. What's my purpose? All right, what's been going through it, and just take a step back and be able to self-awareness for sure. Like, believe it or not.
I think, have you ever heard the saying, God gives his toughest battles to his strongest
Stronger
soldiers?
soldiers at all times.
I thought
Amen
of you
to
when you were
that.
talking. So.
Amen to that.
Yeah, it's a good one.
He does.
Leave me alone.
He knows why
I got
too.
it, I learned.
He knows why
Déjame
too.
tranquilo. Oh shit! I hate hearing that. It always triggers me. But it's my own personal.
Yeah, you want to
You
get
good,
into that?
You want to chat later?
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm gonna need a drink after this. Woo! But nah, man. How you feeling so far as we're going through this? Like,
Man, you guys, like, let's just say you're gonna make me do a lot of thinking as well. Cause guess
So
what?
your mind is
I'm
active?
Your
gonna-
mind is active?
oh yeah, that's crazy. Like what? Now you're gonna make me not only realize, okay, there's certain things. Okay, I gotta take a step back on top of that just to be fully transparent. And I'm gonna give some people their flowers too, cause now I'm like, yo, it's a lot of people I learn from.
that's karma.
But
Yeah.
yo, I'm gonna make sure I give you guys your flowers. Like
yes.
I got to, man. So
Yeah, you put the next one on, and then
got
the next
to,
one on, and the next
got
one.
to,
on.
got to, man.
Sorry. So some finer points. If you're watching this, listening to this, you want to press rewind. We'll cover a little bit more later, but specifically right now, press pause. Take some notes. We originally started the conversation with the idea of the question of really, is your relationship with work healthy? So yes, COVID just happened, life happened, all this other stuff, and the hustle culture / hustle porn had a lot of people getting into this frenzy of grind. And it reminds me of the saying that constantly repeats itself in different ways and variations, but ultimately is the same thing. Any idiot, any fool can trade their hours for money. But ultimately, it takes, a different approach to have not only more fruitful relationships and more, let's call it profits, happening. So the conversation really started with, where am I coming from? The foundation. And yes, everyone might have not grown up in a very hostile or unsafe or, as I like to say, gully, because I'm from Brooklyn, gully environment. That's fine. However, the same thing is going to resonate across the board. And what we all have in common is ultimately we are going to have to make choices. One of the choices that Steven has made in his life is to prioritize that there's a time and place for everything. So he starts to go into the time and place for everything is that at one point of his life, he needed to have thick skin. Then at another point of his life, he can keep his tough skin, but have a soft, gooey center for his friends and his family. That softness might not work in every environment, but it works with his family, and it actually helps keep him stable. It keeps him grounded. Now, that vulnerability, there's strength in that. Mm-hmm. Then after that, we started getting into, okay, as you're doing this, as your journey's coming along, what are you prioritizing? We talked briefly about goal setting, and specifically the thing that, and how this relates to the balance is, certain things are not worth your time, not worth your energy. And the way that he tends to prioritize what's worth it, that next goal, that next milestone, is that he's challenging himself to look 3 to 5 years down the line and then working backwards. So while we're in 2022, he's thinking of 2027 and then working backwards. So if you're challenging yourself to do the same, then start journaling. There's something called morning pages. Sorry, I almost mispronounced that. And morning pages is like this. You wake up in the morning. First thing you do is you're going to open up your book. You're going to write. You're going to write. You're not going to text. You're going to write. ¿Me escuchaste?
Pen to
You're going to
paper.
write. Pen to
Oh,
paper.
Or pencil.
And you're going to just word vomit on that paper. Anything. There's no punctuation, nothing, capitalization. It doesn't matter if it looks like chicken scratch. You're just going to put everything on paper 3 pages later. And I'm not even going to tell you what to expect. I think you're going to be in for an awesome surprise afterwards. And now as we're reaching the end of this conversation, as we're wrapping up, the finer point that he's walking away with is when it comes to his family, it's not only the center of his world, it literally is the future for him. It's going to dictate what he's going to focus on. He's going into philanthropy. So that's his new priority, right? He's going into putting his friends on, his family on, and so on. So now that he's built up his foundation through the thick skin, he gets to grow and foster that through focusing on his self-care and practicing vulnerability. He talked a little bit about meditation and how he's incorporating that into his life. And you know what's funny? I keep noticing the same trend over and over every time we talk to somebody who's doing the damn thing. It's that money is great. It does buy happiness. It really fucking does, because it buys you access, resources, and time. People, capital, and code. Remember those three. So as we wrap up, I would love to give you the floor, and I'd love to ask you, what's something in the last 12 months that you'd like to celebrate right now?
Oh, man. A lot.
That's not a fucking answer.
Okay, but let's talk, man. Like,
something specific. I know just flashed to your eyes when I said that.
Oh, man. Look, like, so when I first moved to Miami, right, I was some, like, it's just a normal spot, but now I'm like, yo, I got my whole penthouse in one of the, like, hottest spots out here. Like, I go up, like, that right there, like, that's big to me, like,
a penthouse in Miami, something to celebrate.
Like, dude, to from living and, like, sleeping on, my uncle's floor, on, hopping place to place, and my cousins, that's a lot. That's a big thing to me, and I had to realize that too. And, like, and then from, like, just starting my, my trucking automation company, like, getting my clients, making sure they're up and running good. And then now I was like, I'm about to be doing the next big thing, like, that's the whole educational platform that's coming out, like, and I'm gonna be teaching government contracts, and I'm like, yo, like, how trucking with government contracts. So that right there, I'm just excited.
Where can people access it?
Where can people access it? So the website right now is still under work, but I'm gonna be dropping every link in my bio. If you follow me on Instagram, Steve Jean _ STEVEJEAN _ I'm going to be dropping that pretty soon, next 3 weeks or so.
We're excited to see what's to come.
Hey, I'm excited. Appreciate y'all.
Dude, thank you so much for dropping by. This has been an awesome conversation. As we're wrapping up, the whole goal of this conversation is to basically bring you into the conversation with people that you normally wouldn't have coffee with or drink with. And questions are highly encouraged. In fact, as we roll this out, we're going to not only set up prompts, but also challenges as we move forward. I want to give a huge thanks to my new co-host, Danny, who has been a breath of fresh air. Steven, you've been an awesome guest, man. I want to thank you so much. And even though he's not in front of the camera, I want to give a very big thanks to Stuart and Brian. They've been an awesome fucking team moving forward. And I cannot forget Vegan Gummies and Hands-Free Automation to keep the lights on. But I digress. They've not only been an awesome sponsor, but an awesome partner in keeping this thing moving forward. This has been Active Minds, where our goal here, to remind you one more time, is to explore life through the perspective and lens of those who are paving their own lanes, have a little fun and discovering how it actually applies to our everyday life. And last but not least, moving smarter together. I've been Catriel C. Sarfati. Catch you next time.
So, guys, as we're wrapping up, we want to remind you that we have our membership program now available on ActiveMindsClub.com.
ActiveMindsClub.com. Grab yourself a seat. See you there.